Welcome to the Flooring Podcast with Mike Harris, the show where we cover new construction, restoration, and everything to do with flooring in commercial construction. Now here's your host, Mike Harris.
Thank you, Producer Dave. Welcome back to the Flooring Podcast, coming from 617 Podcast Studio in Westwood, Massachusetts. This is the Flooring Podcast where we talk about everything and anything flooring in the New England market and the people that are involved in it. Very excited today to have an out-of-town guest,
That's right.
Mike Webster from Portland, Maine. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming down from Portland, Maine. I don't really want to call you an out-of-towner because we are New England, but you are farthest traveler so far on the podcast.
I appreciate you having me down to your home turf.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming down. And rumor has it this is not your first invite into a flooring podcast?
That is right. This is my second invitation to a flooring podcast. I'll share that the first one didn't go great.
Oh, no. What happened, Mike?
It didn't happen. As it turns out, there's actually two Mike Websters, or at least two Mike Websters in the flooring industry. So I got a phone call from one of the more prominent flooring publications. Played a little bit of phone tag, had a conversation, figured out the invitation was not for me. That invitation was rescinded. And
Another Mike Webster out there?
Another Mike I would say that's the real Mike Webster. You've got the knockoff version here today.
I'm not sure. I might have to disagree with that, but go ahead.
The other Mike Webster, fantastic guy, a fellow fuse dealer from Ohio.
Okay.
Very nice guy, and he was on that other podcast, so we've got this one here.
Well, we feel here down at the 617 Podcast Studio that we have the real Mike Webster.
Okay, well, I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming down. Mike, you work at Capozza Tile and Flooring in Portland, Maine. Family-owned business, 3 generations.
That's right.
Talk a little bit about the Capozzas. They've been around for over 50 years and how they got going and how they started.
Sure. Yeah, 51 years. I think 52 pretty soon. The Capozzas are good people, and it's easy to work for good people. I've worked there 16 years. When we talk about the Capozzas, though, I think it's important to clarify there's a lot of Joe Capozzas. So
there are a lot of Joes.
When we talk about the different generations, maybe this isn't the appropriate nomenclature, but for sake of conversation, Joe 1 is the grandfather that started the business. Joe 2 was his son that grew the business, and Joe 3 is our president right now. So.
Yeah, I'd like to refer to as the third, right?
That's right.
Yep.
So as far as the business getting started, I believe it was 1974. So Joe 1 created the business. He ran it out of a station wagon, used a typewriter. Did not have any retail space. His son, Joe 2, joined the business, and Joe's wife, Jeannie, as well.
They were basically tile setters at that point, right?
At that point, yeah.
Yep.
But Joe and Jeannie really helped grow the business.
Hold on, Joe 2 now.
Joe 2. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
And purchased retail space, got more into the commercial side of the business. I think it was right around year 2000. Purchased another tile store, which they rebranded as Old Port Specialty Tile, sort of a high-end residential showroom to be able to capture that market. And third generation now, we've got 3 siblings. We've got Joe, and he's got 2 sisters, Katie and Tia. Each of them are responsible for a big piece of the business. Joe's our president. Katie is responsible for Old Port Specialty Tile, and Tia is responsible for our residential division, and I've got our commercial division.
Okay, so the sisters run the retail side, and
That's right.
Joe oversees everything, Joe 3?
He does.
And you're running the commercial side.
Yep.
Now, it sounds like you've been there for 16 years.
Yes.
You started in the warehouse.
I did.
With a broom?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I can relate to some of your previous guests, pushing a broom, Lug and VCT.
Steve Hilton was that one, yeah. And Dan Auditori was Lug and VCT, sure.
Yep.
And now you're the vice president. That's a great climb in 16 years. And I'm assuming you probably have done everything in between. Why don't you talk about your journey a little bit?
Sure. I joined the company 2009. I was pursuing a college degree out of state. I was a little slow to earn that degree. I did eventually get it, and Joe...
As long as you got it, doesn't matter how long it took.
Joe 3, though, when I did graduate, gave me a stethoscope and affectionately told me that I had spent enough time in college to become a doctor. So
gotcha.
No, but...
that's a good one, Joe.
But I entered the company in 2009 really as a job, and quickly learned that it could become a career. I think, whether it's someone on the installation side of the business, someone getting into the sales side of a business, there's a lot of opportunity in flooring.
Sure.
And spent about a year or two in the warehouse, and then joined our commercial division. So of my tenure, very heavily in the commercial team. Did a little bit of everything: purchasing, project coordinating, project management, but did have one pit stop early on where the Capozzas needed a receptionist at Old Port Specialty Tile, which again is a high-end residential showroom in Portland's Old Port. So for one summer, I signed up for that job. I don't think I was very good at it, but they kept me around.
Nice. Nice. And you were dealing with probably mostly women at that point coming into the store?
And the staff, 100%. I did okay.
Yeah. You're still here.
Still here.
Yep. That's good. It's good to hear. And talk a little bit about the connection between your mom and Joe's mom.
Sure. As I mentioned, for me, getting into the business started as more of a job than it did a career. And I'm glad the way it happened, but there was a connection from the beginning. So my mother and Jeannie Capozza have been good friends since, I believe, middle school. They're part of the same high school graduating class, Deering High School class in 1977. And there's actually a group of 6 women that are still best friends today. Wow. I actually saw 2 of them last night at dinner.
Oh, nice.
Coincidentally. So they've got Portland locked down. That's
good to hear. Good to hear. And I love Portland, too. And we're going to talk about Portland a little bit on the podcast also. So we really became friends in 2015 when you guys bought a company by the name of DMT.
Yep.
DMT was a medium-sized epoxy surface prep polishing company. They were an Ardex preferred installer, Dave Michaud and Mike, and we did a lot of work with them. And then you purchased them. Talk about your thoughts and the reasons you guys did that.
Yeah, that was a pretty new thing for me. I think it was right around 2015 that acquisition happened. Prior to that, Dave and Mike, the former owners, we had worked together. We had a good working relationship. They subcontracted for us, doing primarily moisture mitigation, self-leveling on some of our bigger projects. We shared some success together, so the timing was right around 2015 for that to take place. Kept Mike and Dave on to help run that piece of the business. I got personally more involved with it closer to 2018, 2019. But was always working in collaboration with that team. And I think, we started with moisture mitigation and self-leveling. It's evolved a bit. There's a lot of polished concrete you've discussed with some of your other guests. We've done a ton of resinous coatings, a lot of epoxy, probably more than we signed up for from the beginning.
Okay.
But the demand's been there, especially during early COVID years. Everybody was at home. People were making upgrades to their homes, and both polished concrete and epoxy coatings were popular. So despite strategically trying to do more commercial work, we did a lot of residential work as well. But as far as that division, it allowed us to capture more of a project, a commercial project. So if a GC can bundle some scopes and work with fewer contractors, I think they prefer that.
Yep.
Fewer partners. And if we can deliver on that, then I think we add value. And so we're always looking at adjacent trades, what we can offer. Something else we've been doing recently is 5+ years now is some of the wall panels that are offered. So not just ceramic wall tile, but some of the larger format hygienic wall panels got our introduction with Altro. There's other manufacturers out there now, but that's been something we've been able to successfully cross-train with our in-house teams.
Yeah, you always have to be looking to expand your business. It's
right.
it's very difficult to expand your business just with the core group you have. You're always going to look at purchasing somebody, expanding into other areas.
Sure.
Like you say, cross-training people that can do both.
That's right.
You're a Portland guy. Grew up in the Portland area.
That's right.
Talk a little bit about Portland. Portland, I think, is one of my favorite cities in New England.
Sure.
I love the food. I love the ocean. I love the people. It's a great place to raise kids.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing is, mainly from you, is that people, sometimes grow up, leave, and then find their way back to Portland.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So I grew up in the neighboring town of Portland, Falmouth. I now live about probably 10 minutes from the house I grew up in. Next town over from there, Cumberland.
Yep.
So both.
And they're very near the water or on the water, right?
Both coastal towns.
Coastal towns.
Just
nice.
north of Portland.
Yep.
My wife and her family will say that southern Maine is not Maine.
Really?
Yeah. It's just maybe an extension of northern Massachusetts. I don't know whether I agree or disagree, but it's...
Well, what is southern Maine considered? How far up?
Good question. Probably central Maine would be Augusta. Maybe geographically it's not center.
Yeah.
Bangor probably fits the middle of the state, maybe even north of there. But
Maine's a big state.
Greater Portland is kind of what we're referring to here as southern Maine, and it's the sweet spot for us.
Yeah.
Not into traffic. I'm not a city boy like Steve Hilton. I grew up in a small town. When I was in first college I went to, there was an initial thought of maybe moving to New York City afterwards. I was studying finance at the time and quickly figured out that wasn't my path.
Right. Wasn't you?
Nope. So I was happy to settle back closer to my roots. Many of my friends have done the same thing. So we're fortunate to maintain a lot of friendships today that started much earlier in life. A lot of friends went away to school, moved to larger metro areas,
Yep.
Boston, New York, DC. Most of those friends are back in town now raising their kids.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Let's get back to a little bit about the, you have 2 tile stores.
Sure.
That Joe's sisters run, and you run the commercial side of the business. What's the percentage of business, let's say residential compared to commercial for Capozza?
Sure. Varies by year, but for an average, I'd say about 60% of our revenue is commercial.
Okay.
And maybe the other 40% is split between the other 2 divisions.
Right, and the obviously the residential side is a lot different than the commercial side. Mm-hmm. Me being primarily in the commercial business my whole life, I like to refer to my wife's a kitchen and bath designer, and she's dealing with the residential side of things, and sometimes that can be a pain in the butt.
That's what I hear. No, again my experience with Capozza has been very heavily on the commercial side. That said, I'm in and around what residential is doing. We've got great teams. What they do is difficult work. That said, it's an opportunity if you can be face to face with your customer base. Yeah. And they do it day in, day out. They do a great job. So,
well, I think what I've realized over my history with Capozzas and your team is that they're very good people, and like we've always talked about, people like to deal with good people, and that is that will carry you through in almost any business situation. You have 2 children, 2 young boys.
That's right.
And you have a wife. How do you balance? You've worked your way up from the warehouse to now vice president. You're kind of Joe's right-hand man, I would say.
Sure.
And, obviously, I think Joe has 3 kids, young kids. You have 2 young kids. How do you balance that home life, work scenario? It's difficult sometimes.
It can be, yeah. We've got a good core group at Capozza. A lot of us are going through similar life experiences around the same time.
Yep.
So young kids is a big piece of that, and being a family-owned business, and even before I joined the Capozzas, I had a specific interest in small business. And within small business, family-owned businesses, I've learned are very cool to work with.
Yep.
But I think for us, at work, we help each other because we know what we're kind of going through at home. And I think as far as the balance goes, being self-aware as much as we can be is important. We're going to miss things. So when that happens, if there are, if our crowd is bringing things to our attention, we need to listen to that.
Yep.
And respond to that and make those adjustments. We got to bring our best selves to work, and we got to bring our best selves home.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys belong to a network called Fuse. Capozza does. Fuse is
That's right.
a network of installers like yourself around the country. Why don't you give us a little rundown of Fuse and how that really helps you and your business?
Yeah. Fuse, I think we joined probably 10 years ago. Maybe it's been more than that now. But it's like you mentioned, it's a network of commercial dealers. So some of those dealers also have the residential or retail sides like we do. But to be a member, you really just have to have that core commercial business. It's grown to probably close to 200 members now. When we joined
around the country,
it's U.S. and Canada.
Oh, it's
so we've got
Canada
Canadian
too?
members
Okay.
as well. Yep. And for us, it was kind of a no-brainer to join. There are a lot of benefits, but I think as far as what we get out of it, it's you could compare it to like a peer group. You're discussing challenges, you're discussing successes, just experience with other dealers in different parts of the country.
Yep.
I hate to say it, but we've probably pioneered a problem or two on our own that maybe nobody else had seen before.
Good for you.
Good for us. But most times somebody else has worked through a challenge similar to what you might be going through. And so we're kind of there to support one another. Within the group, there aren't really too many natural competitors. So they're kind of geographically spaced out a little bit. And another thing I really like about it is it allows us to get up close and personal with some like the senior leadership for the manufacturers.
Yep.
So manufacturers are part of the group as well. It's not just dealers.
Sure.
And
Ardex has always been a big part of that.
Ardex, yep. Getting to know some of the Ardex team through Fuse and just through the training facility down in Pennsylvania has been great. But being able to get in touch with the right people at the right time with your manufacturer partners is important because sometimes that communication can be slow.
Yep.
And things move quickly in what we do. So
yeah, absolutely. It's a no wait around business. People want their floors issues taken care of right away.
that's right.
You've had a little bit of changes at Capozza lately. You started some new divisions. You did some remodeling of one of the stores. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we do have a lot of change going on. And we're mindful of that because change can be difficult.
Yep.
And I appreciate, our team's patience and flexibility as we work through
Resiliency.
all of this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But to touch on a few things, we did a front facade renovation at our headquarters on Warren Ave in Portland. You could say the previous aesthetic was maybe a little bit antiquated, perhaps,
bit. Yeah.
right? So
yeah, time for change. Yep.
yeah, kind of modernized that space, brought it up to align with our branding. And project took a little while, as projects do.
Yep.
But otherwise, maybe specific to my team, where we're looking forward to a big 2026. So as we prepare for that and kind of reflect on where we've been, we've had to make some modifications to the team. The team's always evolving. So adding positions, moving people around internally, putting the right people in the right seats.
Yep.
And really setting ourselves up with more support positions, both on the office and field side, so that we're a better partner to our GCs. I feel like sometimes we're outmanned, we're outmatched when we step into these big projects with some of the big GCs in the area. So we want to be able to have the right resources going into these projects. And and allow our project managers to be more successful.
Yeah, you definitely have to have, put people in a position to win for you,
That's right.
You don't want to put somebody in a position that, your hope is going to win, but you think they might fail. You want to put them, in the sports analogy in a place to win, for you and for them, because it's only going to make, both of you succeed very well.
Sure.
You also just changed the name of your epoxy division. What do you call that now?
Yeah, so we made basically a business decision to roll what was Capozza Concrete and Epoxy, CCE for short. People like acronyms, but move that into our commercial division. So it's been under my purview for years now. We're viewing it more as a service that we offer. It's something that we're very experienced with now. It's no longer a standalone division.
Sure.
So it's part of our commercial division. That's part of the overarching strategy of performing more commercial work with coatings and concrete. But as far as our, from a customer's perspective, nothing changes there. We still have the in-house manpower to do the work. We still have the right people. And I think this change allows us to scale up and down more, a little faster.
Yeah.
As business dictates.
Well, also too, an epoxy flooring job, a polished concrete job, a polished topping job, a urethane, floor, very commonplace nowadays on every project, and the ability for you guys to, bundle that with, VCT carpet, whatever other type of flooring you're doing is, an advantage for the GC, you would assume.
It is, absolutely. And we've been on the receiving end of some of those contracts. We've seen that benefit play out. And it's very much a specialized piece of what we do. So I hesitate to call it just another service that we're offering.
Right.
Each of our floor coverings have their own intricacies, but the resinous coatings, the polished concrete truly is specialized.
No doubt about it.
A lot of training involved.
The amount of equipment involved, the cost of that equipment involved is outrageous. And and polished concrete has gotten so popular. We've talked about that on the podcast here.
That's right.
It just keeps growing. More square footage being, don't want to say installed, but done every year. Yep. And I know you guys are doing a lot of that, along with the toppings that are being specified more, and architects and engineers liking that type of look. You must have specialty guys on those crews that really specialize in that. Polished toppings and polished concrete. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the Portland market is, things come to us a little after some of the major metro areas. So you compare it to Boston or New York. If something is a trend in Boston, maybe we'll see it a few years later.
Sure.
So, over the past decade anyway, there's been a lot of those specifications, and there's more players now.
Yep.
So we need to continue to evolve and show where we add value
and get better at what you do. Absolutely.
That's right.
Now you also started a floor maintenance program.
We did.
Yeah. What is that called? And let's chat about that.
Sure. So the acronym is FLS, which is short for Floor Life Solutions.
Floor Life Solutions. Okay.
And what we're trying to do there is be more of a partner, not just to our GCs, but all of our customers. We want to stay in front of our customer for the lifetime of that floor. So it's a lot of great floor coverings out there that are maybe under-maintained or not maintained at all.
Or not maintained at all.
Yeah.
Is correct. Yeah.
We see it. Maybe you in your past experience or, some of the other finished flooring sales reps have been brought in for warranty calls, and oftentimes it's just a matter of the floor not being maintained properly.
Yeah,
9 times out of 10 it feels like.
You got to wash this once in a while.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's a revolutionary idea, but for our market, it's I think it serves a purpose. There's not too many players that are in that game right now, and again, we want to stay in front of the customer for the lifetime of the floor.
Sure.
Compared to a car dealership, you buy a car. Hopefully that's not the last time you're talking to the dealership. You want to get your routine service done. You want to keep that car operating.
Yep.
Really no different for us.
Yep. And Capozza has, how many employees between its retail side and its corporate side?
Yeah. Company has about 60 employees.
60. Wow.
60. Yep. And some of that's our in-house labor. and we use subcontractors as well. So, in our market, open shop up in Maine. So we have the need for both in-house for labor capacity and subcontractors, and got to figure out where they're each best suited, project types, et cetera. So,
right. And in being an open shop, non-union, talk a little bit about training and how you get employees, especially in the field, and how you train them and how you keep them.
Sure. I did listen to your last cast with Dave
Panetta, yeah, the trainer,
sure.
for the union.
No, that was great. I thought he brought a great perspective to what we do, and to be candid, I mean, us up in our market, it's a little bit of a foreign concept to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're largely responsible for the training of our own people. I think the flooring industry in general has a long way to go with formalizing training programs.
Yeah.
You look at some of the other trades, and you look at kids getting back into the trades, right? Like some of those training programs are formalized. Well, flooring's not yet.
Yeah.
And so we've.
Are they teaching flooring in some of the voc tech schools, or they must? Maybe no.
We're trying to change that in the little way that we can. So in Maine, we one of our strategy teams from a past project has started to visit some of these career fairs, get in front of some of these high school kids. I think it's been successful so far, to be honest. But they're in sharing what we do and kind of reiterating on the message I shared earlier that this can be a career. It doesn't need to just be a job, right? So
absolutely. And we've talked again on the podcast about the average age of a contractor in any field is getting older. They're retiring. The new blood is not coming in. College isn't for everyone. The trades are all of a sudden seems like starting to get a little more of a push now. Kids are really starting to look at that.
Sure. Yeah. And we see that momentum there. And another thing that we've done, it's new for us, but we've created an in-house apprenticeship program that was approved by the state of Maine. So again, it's in its infancy, but we're starting to put some of these newer, not necessarily younger, but newer people through this program to get the training that otherwise they might be lacking.
Yeah.
And so that's something we're excited about.
Well, also, too, I know at Ardex we did a lot of training with your group.
Yeah.
From the tile side, from the leveling, mitigation side, which you guys were very willing to do. You actually promoted it for your group, which is great, because sometimes contractors, don't want to spend that time and money, because it costs them money to have their team come in and spend a half a day, an evening getting trained, where, in my opinion, that's absolutely necessary, probably in every field out there, to get your guys trained and educated up on the newest products, the newest schemes are happening. I used to sell, quote, cement in a bag. Well, cement in a bag, just like everything else, changes dramatically every day. It's always improving. It's always getting better. So I think you guys did a great job of that, and I commend you on that, and keep it up.
No, I appreciate that. And Ardex was probably the strongest manufacturer we worked with when it came to training.
Yep.
We sent a lot of people down through the training program in
Aliquippa. Yep.
And I mean, not only does the training save you money in the long run, because you're going to get a better product, you're going to have fewer callbacks, but it does help with retention, regardless of what people do for work. I think they generally appreciate training.
They do like education.
Better equips them for
lifelong learning is
absolutely.
In every field is awesome. Yep, no doubt about it.
So that's something that that we promote.
Great.
Yeah.
That's good for you. The town of Portland's, it's, I don't want to call it a sleepy town anymore. 20 years ago, it wasn't construction-wise booming. Sure. It's been noticed from the world, which I don't like, because I used to love going up there and being able to get Yeah, I know. I still go up there, but like getting a seat at the bar at 4th Street, you can't do that anymore, because it's been recognized as the the restaurant capital of the country. It's been #1 over the last few years. But the construction is started to really take off and boom. I just read the other day where there's a project that's, I think, almost 20 stories high, where they actually had to change the law because I think they had a 12-story or 10-story height maximum.
Sure.
And why don't you talk a little bit about how Portland is developing? Also, we got that Northeastern University going in there and taking over the old B&M Baked Bean factory there in the corner there in that bluff.
Yeah.
And used to go in that factory a little bit as a younger salesman selling some products because the concrete would always be getting eroded in there. But, talk a little bit about the business up in Portland now.
Yeah. Portland's skyline certainly looks a little different than Boston or New York, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what it looks like now, you're right, is a little different than 10 years ago. So I think the building you're referring to, we actually worked on with Landry French Construction 2-3 years ago. It's an 18, 19-story building, multifamily on Federal Street in Portland, great building. I think there were some building height ordinances that were adjusted for that.
So this one's already being built?
The 19-story is completed. However, in the news now...
Yeah, I'm talking about a new one now, too. Yep.
Looking at a 30-story.
Wow.
So that's a big jump up.
Nice.
Yeah. And my understanding is that building's multifamily as well, or maybe say condo, but also hotel space and maybe some other multi-use space. So,
well, we don't want Portland to be Boston or be New York. We want Portland to be Portland. Yeah. But we want, we do need some, some progress, some construction.
Sure.
For, people to be up there. Your backlog, how's that looking this year? I mean, the year's over, boom, another year comes and goes. And it's all about the backlog, right? That's where Joe Third is probably asking, Mike, where's the backlog?
Yeah, we've been talking about that.
Yeah.
2026 we're very excited about.
Nice.
The amount of work already under contract is the best we've had.
Great. Congratulations.
Appreciate that. Yeah. A combination of developing those GC relationships and those end user relationships, but a lot of work for 2026. Some of it stretches into 27 or maybe early 28.
Yep.
Want to remain aggressive there. I understand, there's some uncertainty and some things we can't control, so we're focused on what we can control.
Sure.
And trying to be in the driver's seat there. You were talking about Portland a little bit, and something. It's changed. It's developed. I think it's been positive. Things evolve, and
I would definitely agree.
And one thing that's in particular that's really neat. I draw the comparison to Boston a little bit is the sports scene. So my kids, they're 4 and 6, pretty young, but I think sports is something that our family gets excited about together. Yep. And so we brought them down to Red Sox games, brought them to the Garden recently for a Celtics game. But we're fortunate that, from where we live, 15, 20 minutes from home, right in Portland, we've got 4 minor league sports teams.
Right, you got a soccer team I saw on TV the other day. A major league soccer team, right? Or is it a minor league?
I guess you would say minor. It's USL, so I think it's one step below the MLS.
Yeah.
But we've also got the Maine Celtics, which are the affiliates of Boston Celtics. We've got the Portland Sea Dogs.
Yeah, Portland Sea Dogs are always
great.
The
Red
Sox.
We've got the Maine Mariners hockey team.
Yeah. No, that is awesome. And Portland is a great town for all of those, situations. We had talked about, good people, and I know the Capozzas are great people. Just, talk a little bit from your point of view. You've been there 16 years. You're working for a small family business. Yep. You got, Joe and his 2 sisters, his father. I just want to give them another, better plug. It's, they're all good people.
That's right.
Doing the right thing, treating you well, looking to grow as a team. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. And, like you probably talk about in each of your podcasts, it's easy to do business with good people. And I'll tell you, it's easy to work for good people too.
We only want to deal with good people. It just makes life so much smoother, so much easier. And, I'm going to work harder, for you as a good person than I would if you weren't.
Sure. As I mentioned earlier, my entry to the business, to Capozza, maybe wasn't intentional. It's not like I looked to Joe and say, hey, I want to go work for Joe. I didn't know Joe as well at the time. Our mothers were great friends, but I think Joe, and not just Joe, the Capozza family is really what's kept me engaged there and retained me but also given me opportunity, allowed me to grow with the company.
Well, you've from the warehouse to VP in 16 years is great growth,
Yeah.
And also, was it last year, the year before, didn't I see Capozza was one of the top 50, companies to work for in the state? One of the, when those kind of things come out in the newspaper.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So it's been the last 3 years.
You've been in there, yeah?
Yeah. That was something that we were trying to get a little more proactive about in terms of seeking feedback from our own team, right? So best places to work survey, I think each state maybe has their own chapter for that, but it is a nice credential to have, and maybe more so than the credential, we're getting raw feedback from our team.
Yeah.
Where do we need to be better? What are we good at, but where do we need to be better?
Yeah.
Where can we make those investments? So yeah, over the last 3 years, I think we've made the list. Maybe it's been implemented for 4. I don't think the first year we quite made the list.
Okay, all right, but you're on it now.
Absolutely, and yeah,
that's that's a great thing to have, a great thing to promote when you're trying to get new people, and how do you get and keep good people? Obviously by being a great company, but to retain people is tough nowadays,
Yeah, I think the Capozzas have a lot to do with that. You talk about them being good people.
Yeah.
They make it easy to work. Work itself is not easy, but if you're doing it with good people, it's that much easier. We're fortunate. I look at the company in general. There's a lot of tenure. Speaking for myself, I'm a millennial. I've worked for the same company for 16 years. It's a little unusual.
Very unusual, yeah. Today's day and age, yeah.
Sure. But the opportunity's been there.
Yeah.
And I want that opportunity to be there for the rest of our team. If we have turnover, I think it's generally at like the entry level position, be it installation or otherwise. We've identified that. We're trying to see what we can do to change that. Turnover sucks no matter what position it's at. It costs money. But no, the Capozzas make that easy, and they're mindful. You talked about the 12%ers earlier, right?
Yeah.
Third generation,
yeah.
That's a real statistic. You get into the 4th generation, that number drops again, I think 3-4%.
3 to 4% is correct, yeah.
And I commend them.
Is there another Joe in line?
There is another Joe.
Joe 4?
Yeah, to keep it easy for the listeners, Joe 4.
Yeah.
Got 2 other kids, Tommy and Julia as well, and Tia and Katie each have kids of their own. So I don't know what that looks like. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves.
Keep them all coming,
Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah, and well, I know when like I said, I got involved with Capozza really when Capozza bought DMT, and one of the gentlemen that owned DMT, David Mishu, was a personal friend of mine as well as a business friend of mine. And he said if he had sold his company to Capozza 10 years beforehand, his career would have lasted a lot longer, because he said they were just a, phenomenal company to work for. And, being on his own, running a business for 25 years, small epoxy business with him and his partner, Mike, very difficult. He said when we had, Joe as a boss and you as a boss, he said, life couldn't have got any better, which it did extend his career, longer than he would have. I think he worked till he was 73.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah. So that's a great compliment from, somebody who was, participate with you guys and work with you guys,
Yeah, Dave was a great guy.
Dave's a great guy. Well, I think this has gone on pretty well. I appreciate you coming down for this. I enjoy working with you. I'm an older gentleman now. You remind me of one of my sons with, with grandkids of, in that age. And I really loved every minute of being involved with you. I appreciate you coming down to my podcast. Like with all my podcasts, I end with 3 quick questions.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
All right. What's your favorite ice cream?
Cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream. All right. What's your favorite restaurant in Portland?
Okay.
That's a tough one.
It is. My spot is Bird & Co. So, I don't know, you might be familiar. It's a taco spot, good margaritas.
I've heard of that place, and
So
I think I've been there. That is correct.
It's on the outskirts of Portland. I gotta admit, I'm not a foodie, right, per se, and restaurants are really what put Portland on the map.
Yep.
There's a ton of good ones. I could rattle off 10 more that I like, but
Yep.
I think it's my spot. It's where we go. So that's my favorite.
The margaritas are quite tasty.
Yeah.
My favorite is 4th Street.
Yes.
I think I introduced you to my friend Bobby Edwards from Saratoga
That's right.
Springs.
Yeah.
Bobby, brought me to 4th Street 20 years ago, and I've loved it ever since.
I remember the first time I went there with you. You were greeted as Mr. Harris.
Ah.
I think they might have known you were around there.
That's, I've probably spent a little too much time there, yes. And last question, what is your favorite beach in Maine?
Favorite beach in Maine?
Yeah.
Good question. Honestly, I'm more of a lake guy. If that sounds, but we have both. We've got lakes. And we've got the ocean as well.
Yeah, mine is OOB, Old Orchard Beach, baby.
Yep.
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 Love going up to Old Orchard Beach with the fam every summer.
Sure. I will answer with Higgins, only because in my youth I spent a lot of time there with good friends.
Okay.
That was kind of our spot to hang out, thinking high school age.
Yeah.
So a lot of fond memories there.
Well, that's great. Michael, thank you. Thank you for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thanks
for taking the trip down from Portland, Maine.
Sure. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the show. You can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcast. Mr. Harris will return in 2 weeks, and we thank you for listening to the Flooring Podcast.